Mr. Urban Phenom, dropping lyrical bombs. Niggas got heart, but no chin. Amir Khan, always ready for war. I don't have to turn it on. I'm the best at what I do, and that's just being me. The devil's a lie.
Alright, so this Saturday we got Adrien Broner making his anticipated welterweight debut against champion Paulie Malignaggi, and this is for the WBA welterweight title. It ain't no undisputed type shit, you know, all the fucking belts that's floating around nowadays. But anyways, you know, this fight been having a lot of buzz lately because the amount of shit talking that both of these dudes been doing. You know, they bringing up ex-girlfriends, they talking about this, that, they all over Twitter, World Star, all that shit. And yeah, this fight got a good amount of buzz, it does. But when you really look at it, it's a hollow buzz because majority of the fans, even the casual fans, know that Broner is gonna beat the shit out of Paulie Malignaggi. It's not because Paulie Malignaggi isn't a good fighter. He's solid, he's an overachiever. It's just that stylistically, Malignaggi doesn't offer anything that could pose a threat to Broner. I mean, when you look at it, as far as Broner's previous fights, I mean, damn, at least Antonio DeMarco could punch, Ponce de Leon could punch. They were southpaw, you know, they had a different look. Paulie Malignaggi, we all know that he's slightly past his prime. He's more hittable now than ever, and he always been hittable for a guy with his attributes. He's quick, he could box a little bit, great footwork, but his defense is not that good. He can't punch for shit. He couldn't tear through a wet paper bag. He doesn't turn his punches over. He doesn't sit down on them. It doesn't even look like he balls his fists up, so he never really gets the most out of his style. Yet we've been subjected to seeing his ass on TV countless times against the better opposition and great fighters like Hatton and Cotto and even Amir Khan and other dudes. So when you look at Malignaggi saying all that shit about Broner hasn't fought anybody that nobody knows, I mean, he hasn't fought no big crazy names, but at least he's beaten them and looked good for the most part. Whereas Malignaggi, yeah, you lost all your big fights. So I just found that funny when he mentions that shit. Same thing when I found it funny when he was saying that shit to Keith Thurman. If you remember that little press conference, whatever, and Paulie was running his mouth then. But, you know, this ain't no hate on Malignaggi at all. I mean, you know, he's a good commentator. He could box. You know, he's been promoted well early in his career. So they made the best out of that. Because dude's really not exciting. Doesn't really bring nothing to the table. So he's had a good, solid career. But at the end of the day, in this matchup, it's just kind of wrong for him. I mean, this the same guy who I thought lost to Pablo Cesar Cano, and it's the same Cano that Mosley just beat a little while ago. And this is a Mosley that damn near ain't won a fight in like fucking 3-4 years almost. So just put everything in perspective. You know, Paulie Malignaggi's boxing skills aren't that great. You know, when he fights guys who will come forward, pressure fighters, whatever, you know, guys who not good at cutting the ring off and you know, really applying pressure, guys who aren't good at dealing with lateral movement, you know, he'll shine and he'll look good with all his little pitter-pat jabs and shit. But a guy like Broner, who's a complete boxer, I don't think his style is gonna help him. Now, I do think Malignaggi is gonna disrupt Broner's offensive approach only because of Paulie Malignaggi's good footwork and ring generalship. He can move about real good. He could fight on the back foot and he could pivot and switch directions real good, but I don't really see that as a effective strategy to win a fight. That's more like prolonging an ass whooping, and that's all I see this fight as. So excuse me, if I don't feel too excited about this fight, but I ain't do videos in a good little minute, so I like Broner as a fighter. He's good for the sport, so fuck it. But yeah, at the end of the day, Broner, I think he's gonna win a lopsided decision. He's gonna whoop Paulie Malignaggi in front of his hometown, whatever. That's just how it's gonna go down. I see the fight not being all that exciting at first. I think it's gonna heat up around maybe the 3rd or 4th, 5th round in the middle of the fight, and then Broner's just gonna take it from there. And it is what it is. I mean, it's boxing. You don't know, shit might be differently, but I ain't gonna lie, I'll be genuinely surprised if Malignaggi wins 4 or 5 rounds clearly, or really troubles Broner from doing his thing. I think the weight won't affect Broner that much. He's looking real filled out, looking really physically imposing. He looks real big at welterweight, and he's looked big at lightweight as well. So this might be a good weight class for him. I don't know if the power is going to improve or not, but I think, he has enough to derail Paulie Malignaggi, make him pick up that commentating microphone permanently. But, we'll see. Hopefully it's a decent fight for the fans. And once again, Broner by lopsided decision. Swag Science 1.